Landing that big client feels amazing. The one that's going to double your revenue, solve all your financial headaches, and finally let you breathe easy. Well, let's be honest, we've all been there, chasing the next big win, convinced that more money coming in will fix everything for us. But then something strange happens. Your revenue climbs, yet somehow you're still stressed about money. Maybe even more so than before, but what is going on? Today, I'm going to explain why more revenue is rarely the solution for your business's financial problems, and why mastering your cash flow should be your first priority. Let's start with a reality check. 82% of small businesses fail because of cash flow problems, not because of low revenue. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Businesses with healthy sales still collapse every single day because they misunderstand a fundamental truth, that revenue is just a number. Cash flow is what keeps your business alive. And here's the trap that many entrepreneurs fall into. Revenue is what you earned on paper. It feels good, it looks impressive in your reports, but you can't pay bills with revenue. You can only pay bills with the cash that's actually in your account right now. In this timing gap, the time between when you earn revenue and when cash actually hits your account, is where businesses get into trouble. And as your revenue grows, unfortunately, the gap often widens. Here's something counterintuitive. The growth can actually create cash flow problems for you. When you land a bigger client or launch a new product line, what happens? You need more inventory, you hire more staff, you invest more in equipment, you pay more expenses up front. All of those things require cash now, but the revenue from that growth might not come in for 30, 60, 90, even more than that. This is why seemingly successful businesses go bankrupt during periods of rapid growth. The revenue looks fantastic, but they run out of cash before that revenue converts into money in the bank. So the question is, how do you escape this trap? And you do that by developing a cash flow first mindset. So you might be asking, what does this mean? Well, it means that understanding timing is everything, and that managing the conversion cycle from sales to cash is critically important. And finally, you need to create systems that prioritize predictable cash flow over just impressive revenue numbers. So let's break those things down. First off, let's start by mapping out your cash flow timeline. This isn't your P&L or balance sheet. It's a forward-looking calendar that shows you exactly when money leaves your account and exactly when money that you earn will enter your accounts. The gap between those events is that potential danger zone that most business owners have. And you got to ask yourself a couple questions. Can you move up customer payments? Can you extend vendor payment terms? And do you have enough cash reserves to cover any of those gaps? Because remember, it's not about how much money you make, it's about having the money available when you need it. Your cash conversion cycle is the time that it takes to convert cash into inventory and resources, convert those resources into products and services, sell those products and services, and finally collect payment from customers. The longer that entire cycle is, the more working capital you need to bridge the gap. And smart business owners focus on shortening this cycle, and they do that a couple different ways. You can require deposits before starting work, offer incentives for early payments. You can create shorter payment terms like net 15 instead of net 30. You can implement an automated payment collection process, or you can even consider financing or other issues for larger invoices. Because remember, each day that you reduce from your conversion cycle frees up cash that can support your business. And the final principle is creating a system that makes your cash flow more predictable and automatic. And what does this mean? Well, it means you need to start setting aside money for taxes immediately when the payment arrives, so you don't have the headaches come April when it comes time to find money for the tax bill. You want to create a cash reserve that covers ideally at least 3 months of your expenses. You also want to establish clear rules for how your money is going to move between the different accounts, because most business owners don't have any type of structure when it comes to the different accounts that they have and how money is going to flow between those accounts. Ideally, you want to use technology to help automate these movements, because we know from human behavior and behavioral finance that it's really difficult for us to constantly make those decisions. And we've covered in previous videos the challenges that comes up when you have to rely on willpower and the cognitive impact that it has when you have to make all of these financial decisions every single day. And lastly, you want to be reviewing your cash positions weekly, not just monthly. Because when your cash flow becomes systematic rather than reactive, you can finally start to focus on that growth without constantly worrying about running out of money. And that's exactly why we created Sequence, to help business owners escape the revenue trap and master their cash flow. Because with Sequence, you can automatically route incoming payments based on a predetermined set of rules. You can ensure that tax money is always set aside first. You can maintain minimum balances in your operating account so that you never miss a bill. You can also separate your business and personal finances effortlessly, which is a huge issue for many small business owners. And you can create a visual map of your entire cash flow in one single space. all without requiring constant attention or manual transfers or constantly logging into all of your different accounts. Consider one of our clients, Michael, who owned a plumbing business. He'd just doubled his revenue in the last year, but still found himself stressed more than ever about money. Because despite billing over $300,000, he was constantly shuffling money between his different accounts and worried about covering expenses. But after he implemented a cash flow first approach with Sequence, he is now automatically setting aside 30% of every payment for taxes. His operating account maintains a minimum of 6 weeks expense cushion so that he's never caught off guard. His personal income has been more stable and predictable because he's always paying himself as opposed to thinking about paying himself or remembering to pay himself. And he spends less than 20 minutes every week on financial management. The result there was crazy because despite no additional revenue growth in that period of time, his take-home profit increased by 20% and his financial stress disappeared. Because you got to remember the saying, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash flow is reality. And the next time that you're tempted to solve your business problems by simply chasing more revenue, you got to pause and ask yourself, is this actually a cash flow problem, but just in disguise? Because for most businesses, mastering the timing, the conversion, and the automation of your cash flow will create more financial stability than doubling your revenue ever could. So if you're ready to put cash flow first in your business, visit Sequence's website at getsequence.io today, and you can set up your automated cash flow system in less than 30 minutes. And don't miss our next video. It's about the easiest ways to automate your savings as a business owner. And in it, we talk about how you can ensure that you're consistently building wealth and not just making sales. Because when your money moves automatically, your business grows naturally.